All right, good evening, everyone. If we could come to order, please. Thank you. We're just after 6 o'clock. And I'd like to invite everyone to stand for O Canada. Remain standing for a moment of silent meditation.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us common. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. Okay, attendance, Madam Clerk.
We have all in attendance, Your Worship.
Thank you. If there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof, you can make that statement at this time or when the item arrives on our agenda this evening. So we have the approval of the agenda and approval of the minutes under consent items. So I'm looking for a mover and seconder for the motion that the agenda and minutes, that the following agenda and minutes dated March 24, 2026 be approved. Moved by Councillor Ferguson, seconded by Councillor Suter. Any discussion on those items? I'm seeing none, so all in favor? Thank you, that carries. And this brings us to the first of two public meetings. Good evening, Mr. Brennan. Whenever you're ready, I'll pass things over to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. So to clarify, there are two public meetings here tonight. Before I start the presentation for the first one, I'll be reading a preamble. Just want to clarify that the preamble will apply to both public meetings and won't be repeated in between the two presentations. In accordance with sections 28 and 34 of the Planning Act, before a decision is made by an approval authority, the approval authority shall ensure that a public meeting is held. These are statutory public meetings for the purpose of giving the public the opportunity to make submissions with respect to the proposed community improvement plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment. If a person or public body would otherwise have an ability to appeal the decision of the municipality of Mississippi Mills to the Ontario Land Tribunal, but the person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the municipality of Mississippi Mills before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision. If a person or public body does not provide written submissions or participate in the hearing, the council may proceed. In your absence, you will not be entitled to any further notice of the proceedings. It is the practice of the council after hearing all evidence to make a decision in public to approve, deny, or defer a community improvement plan and zoning bylaw amendment. Persons taking part in the public meeting and wishing a copy of the decision must make a written request to the assigned planner. Persons or public bodies were asked to pre-register with the planning department with their name and address to make comments. Oral and written submissions will continue to be accepted following the public meeting. A brief overview of the proposed community improvement plan and zoning bylaw amendment will be provided by staff. The public will then be provided an opportunity to make comments and ask questions. I will clarify for the community improvement plan, we did not receive any written submissions in advance of this presentation, and I'm not aware of any registered speakers. So with that, the first public meeting tonight is with regards to an affordable housing community improvement plan amendment. Just as a recap to what CIPs are, the Municipal Act has specific provisions that prevent a municipality from providing economic benefit to commercial enterprises, with the exception of where it's explicitly permitted within a CIP under the Planning Act. So essentially, a CIP is a way for municipalities to provide financial incentives to motivate private investment in specific areas. This can be done through grants or forgivable loans. I will say the nature of CIPs is only limited by our imagination. So there are quite a few different kinds that you can see in other municipalities. I've given a couple examples here on the slide on the right. Mississippi Mills, of course, received Housing Accelerator funding, which required council to complete 7 defined initiatives. Included in these initiatives was the establishment of an affordable housing CIP, which was passed in November of last year. The CIP features 5 existing programs. I won't go into the specifics for these existing programs, but we'll note for the public that the full CIP is available on our website for review. Of course, all these programs look at the creation of affordable housing. What does that mean in the context of the CIP? The provincial planning statement does provide a definition for that metric. I won't repeat it. It is given on the slide. I will just say, as the PPS evolves over time, if there was a new definition that's more restrictive in terms of ownership or rental requirements to meet affordable, the CIP requirements would then change in correlation. The proposed amendment tonight was brought on due to an MOU that was signed with a not-for-profit affordable housing provider, which council directed the CAO to enter into in February of this year. So as I previously stated, the Municipal Act does prohibit certain economic activities with commercial enterprises, otherwise known as bonusing. One of those specifically is the sale or lease of municipal lands below fair market value. Again, except where authorized by CIP. So in review of our MOU, our municipal solicitor did advise that there's no common law explicitly defining whether land conveyance to a not-for-profit constitutes as bonusing. So the argument could be made that they are a commercial enterprise. So with that, our solicitor did advise that it is in the municipality's best interest to complete the terms of the MOU, i.e. the land conveyance, under a CIP program. So the program that's being proposed to be added to the CIP is just that. It would allow council to convey municipal lands below fair market value for the express purpose of creating affordable housing. There are really 2 situations that could be involved with that. A development may propose to create all affordable housing through their development, in which case it's being proposed that the purchase price could be reduced up to 100% or just $1. But in other cases, we may see maybe not a not-for-profit, but a private developer who's interested in creating affordable housing, but can't make the economics work without having some sort of market units or potentially a different use associated with it. So the program's proposing to then prorate the purchase price according to the gross floor area of the affordable housing units relative to the entire building. Now, there's additional criteria associated in terms of what development's eligible and what's not. So on the right here, we can see it's being proposed that development that does not provide less than 10 affordable units would be eligible for this program. The cumulative gross floor area of the affordable units could not be less than 66% of the entire development. So just as an example, typically, residential development in Almont's restricted to 3 stories, with the exception of specific areas where it can go to 4. So if someone was building a 3-story building, essentially two of those floors would have to be affordable, and 1 could be at market or a different use. And also the lands that are proposed to be conveyed at a prorated or at no cost need to be explicitly defined in a schedule of the land sale bylaw. And so with that, staff are proposing a correlating amendment to the land sale bylaw to create that schedule and lay out the process flow for how one would go about to submit a request, the process that we'd have to go through to consider it, and then the nuances of actually negotiating a purchase and sale agreement if the application is successful. Council will recall that last year, one of the initiatives, including half, was to rezone municipally owned lands for housing. So that was completed in August. So staff are proposing that 6 of those 7 parcels make up the initial offering within the schedule of the land sale bylaw, with the exception of 208 State Street, which is the current daycare facility, so that council can maintain flexibility for a market sale. So just looking at this, the image on the right, the parcels denoted in blue, with the exception of the one demarked as 208 State Street, would make up the initial offering for this CIP program. A good question is, how does a unit incentivized through the CIP stay affordable once the funding's been granted? So this program doesn't propose to change the existing framework within the CIP. So it would require that the successful applicant register an agreement on title, obligating them to a 10-year period of affordability every year in which they're reporting rates for their tenants. And then failure to comply would require a full reimbursement to the municipality. So in this case, if they did receive the land at no cost, they would be due full market value of the land if they were in default, or prorated if they did receive it at a prorated rate. We're currently here at the public meeting, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brennan. And I noted you had said that there was no registered speakers.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. You don't have any other information? Is there anyone in the gallery that wanted to speak to this planning matter? Okay, thank you. This concludes the first public meeting. We'll move to the second one. Thank you very much, Mr. Brennan. We'll move to the second one and welcome Project Manager Melissa Fudge with the Planning Department and the Director of Development Services for our second public meeting, which is on the Adelaide and McDermott zoning amendment. So whenever you're ready.
Good evening. I'm here to present the zoning bylaw amendment application for D14 MM2-26. Oh, sorry.
That's my fault.
So this is for the municipally owned land unaddressed. The legal description is Plan 6262, Lot 4, Lot 10, Adelaide Street, and Lot 19, McDermott Street. As you can see here on the aerial map, the subject property is denoted in blue. It appears to be 2 parcels, but it is in fact 1 lot. It's vacant land, municipally owned, and it is located at the southeast side of Adelaide and McDermott Street. The subdivision application for Hannon Hills is located to the north, and the subdivision application for Menzie Enclaves is located to the east. Surrounding uses are residential and vacant lands. In the community official plan, the subject property is designated as residential. This designation supports low to medium density residential uses such as townhouses, apartment dwellings, and other building similar building types. It is zoned residential 3rd density with a holding provision. So the holding provision is applied since the property does not have access to full municipal services. The R3 zone permits 4-plex and townhouses as the densest type of residential development. So the purpose and effect for the zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone the subject property from R3H to residential fourth density with a special exception. This zoning would permit a greater range of residential uses, such as stacked townhouses and low-rise apartment dwellings. And the special exception would allow site-specific performance standards based on a concept that we received from Lanark Community Alliance. So that would mean reduced setbacks and reduced parking rates, 0.5 per unit. In terms of the servicing and infrastructure, so as mentioned earlier, the site is not currently serviced by municipal water and wastewater. The existing services do end at the intersection of Florence and Adelaide. And there is a potential opportunity for Lanark Community Alliance to partner with Kavanaugh Developments to service the site through the Hannon Hills subdivision development. Lanark Community Alliance has also received information outlining the municipality's requirements for a temporary servicing solution if that is required. Oh, I'll just go back. We did circulate this application. We have received comments from the public, which will be analyzed by staff and addressed in the recommendation report. And we are here at the public meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I noted in the report that there had been one submission, one comment from the public. Are there registered speakers for this evening we're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
No? Okay. Anyone in the gallery want to provide a comment on the matter this evening? Perfect. Okay, thank you. This is maybe a good time just to underline for anyone at home or anyone here, the purpose of the public meeting isn't for council to ask questions or to debate. It's for us to hear from the public if there are concerns or if there's comments and feedback. I missed asking this on the first item. Apologies, Mr. Brennan. What is the timeline if there are additional comments that someone may like to provide or someone at home might be thinking about? What's the timeline for this item, the Adelaide?
Thanks for the question, Mayor. Actually, for both Adelaide and the CIP, because they are related, they're sort of moving to forward and continue in parallel, sorry. The CIP does require circulation to the province for comment. So likely, I imagine we'll be back here in front of Committee of the Whole with a recommendation report on both items, likely at the end of May, I would think, or early June. So still lots of time to submit comments and provide feedback.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I usually make this statement, but I'll state it again, even if I'm repeating myself. Written comments have as much weight as an oral submission. Not everyone's comfortable providing an oral submission. So if there's anyone at home watching or watching another time, certainly submitted comments in written format are just as important and would be reflected in the staff report that then comes to us, which we'll debate in late May. Is that what you had said? Okay. All right. So if there's nothing from the gallery, this will conclude the second public meeting. Thank you very much. Okay. To the right place in my agenda here. There we go. So this brings us to the Committee of the Whole reports, I guess it should say, because there's two of them. There is the motions from our Committee of the Whole meeting on the 24th, as well as the special meeting that we had on the 1st. So are any of those items I1 through I5 ones that a member would like to have a separate vote or discussion on? Ms. Councillor Holmes?
Thank you. Not a separate vote, but I just wanted to ask a couple questions about 1.2.
Sure. Okay.
Can I do that right now?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm wondering about the we had give direction to staff for public engagement. And I'm wondering, is that going to be an opportunity for the public to have input or just to receive information?
I think it's both. I think that was our intention, but let's go to the clerk for.
Yeah, so
Beneficial
we're,
response.
we've scheduled the in-person Public Information Center on this piece to be on June 22nd. And there'll also be an online component as well. The idea is that it will be an opportunity to, one, receive information and two, provide input as well. And then a summary report will be presented to council for their consideration.
Thank you. The reason I'm asking, there's two issues actually. I've been receiving some feedback about bullards in that particular area because the street is, although it's a best practice, I know as Corey had said, it's best practice, but you know, concern about the narrowing of the street and the buses apparently like to move over whenever they're going there if there's nobody coming the other way. So there's a lot of, you know, good reasons why people are concerned. And the second reason was because a resident approached me about why don't you make that area one way? And so I had suggested that he, you know, bring it up at this public engagement, but I wanted to make sure it was going to, you know, so thank you so much.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Clerk, I think the idea with the engagement is very much like what we've done for the master transportation and the active transportation components, where there's information provided as well as like a way to collect information from residents.
That's
Have I got that?
exactly, yeah, that's exactly correct.
Okay. Does that help? Okay. So going back to our list, I1 through I5, are there any items we want a separate voter discussion on? Okay, not seeing any. I'm looking for a mover and seconder then for the motion that council approve the committee of the whole motions from the March 24th and April 1st, 2026 meetings. Moved by the Deputy Mayor and it's seconded by Councillor Holmes. Not seeing any discussion. All in favor? Thank you. That carries. But just add a comment to I2. I think one of the things for us to keep in mind is that this is a starting point. And I think I speak for council when I say we hope future councils will take into consideration the work that was done in these reviews. And certainly there's over 30 recommendations there, some of them operational, some of them will take council direction. But there's also that opportunity to get feedback from the public like we have through our master planning and this being a starting point, not an ending point. So thank you everyone for your time on this one. So let's move to the council report. The first item is a resolution that we have received. Is there a mover and seconder to receive that as information, Northeastern Manitoulin and the Islands regarding tar and chip? Sure.
Thanks. I was wondering if this is an issue for Mississippi Mills. And I don't know that it needs to go to a full report. But I am curious, does it affect us?
Do you want to direct it to the department?
Yeah,
Public
maybe.
Works and maybe get a comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Corey, I'm just wondering if this issue with the light oil affects us and if you think we should look into it further.
So I don't want you to feel like you're on the
Yeah,
spot. I was
yeah.
meaning more like send it to you and we'll get it.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
No,
You're
I'm-
comfortable responding.
Corey, I'm happy to do that too, if you want to come back with it later.
At this point, I'd certainly be more than happy to come back after I did take a cursory review of the documents there. And without reading a significant amount of the additional background that should be in there from our experience at this point. We do have some roads that are surface treated roads that are not receiving the same level of life that they previously did. That being said, the design life of 12 to 15 years out of a surface treated road is being met. What we found with some of the older roads that were done, which were overbuilt, by the way, in a lot of cases, we're getting up to 20 years out of them. And some of that was simply because we did not invest in them appropriately to rebuild them before. But we also have to recognize there was lighter traffic volumes on a lot of these roads in the past as well. So yes, there is, I will say evidently, empirically, some shortening of the service life of surface treated roads at this point. But the roads that we have invested in the past 15, 5, 10 years are meeting the service life standards that we would expect for surface treatment of 12 to 15 years and are following the patterns we would expect.
Okay, thank you.
So Council Lowe, do you want to move that we receive it for information and we can direct this item to staff for further
Yeah.
feedback once the directors have?
Yeah, I think I'd like that, and only report back if there is something that you think needs to be done. Yeah.
So moved by Councillor Lowe, is there a seconder? Councillor Holmes, thank you. Any further discussion? Yes.
Yes, would it not make sense that lighter grade oil would be an inferior product? Question.
Maybe we'll get that in our report back. Yeah. Logic would tell us one thing, wouldn't it? All right, so we'll look forward to getting that from you, Director. All in favor of that direction? Thank you, that carries. J2, our proclamation that council proclaims May is Museum Month. Councillor Holmes, would you like to move that? I thought you might. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Suter. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, that carries. And then we have a number of time-sensitive items. The first is the hard surface renewals. This is the prioritized list of work for 2026. So our motion is to approve the prioritization list on pages, let's see, the report is 61, 62. And the Schedule A program list is 63. Was there any comments from yourself? Kind of self-explanatory, but.
Simply, the policy states that we bring forward the list to council for approval. The list is being presented as such.
Thank you, Director Smith. Are there any questions, comments, feedback from members of council? Councillor Holmes?
I just have a question, and I did send it to Corey. And he gave back some clarification. My understanding is that King Street and Old Almont Road, they were already pre-approved, so they'll be first on the list, right?
Correct.
And then there's the rest are maybes. Up to at certain dollar value, which I can't remember what it was. 2 million and something. Realistically, that list, how much do you think you're actually going to be able to do?
There has been some changes as of recent due to world factors that are impacting oil prices. So as such, if that wasn't if that wasn't a new consideration, the reality is we anticipated that we would get as far as project 38 on that list.
Okay. Yeah, so the 2.78, you're expecting to go to, to 38, is that it? And then surplus funding for the additional. Okay. Did you want to follow up?
Yeah, because I find this quite interesting. You know, I'm certainly in favor of forecasting, but just out of interest, then 39 to 50, does that become a priority in the next year?
The short answer is they will maintain their priority status. Will they be the first projects on the list next year? The projects will follow the procedure in the policy. So
they'll be added onto the 2027 then. That's what you're saying, list.
no, the way the procedure works is we follow the life cycle management schedule as in the asset management policy. And then any priority works will follow after the life cycle management policy. So we follow the life cycle management policy, confirm it with the PCI. That is a completed independently with a laser van that goes through, gives us a documented number. If the works on the LMS are, if the works on the LMS are appropriate for that road, they will continue. If not, it will get removed. And then the next project on the priority list based on that will go in. It is likely that they will be incorporated, but it is not 100% guarantee that they are the next 1, 2, 3, 4 on that list.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is, or I'm maybe not understanding is, they're not just going to fall off the list because they didn't get done in 25 or in 26.
No,
They will be on a list somewhere.
exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Just before I go to you, Councillor Ferguson, one of the ways that I tend to talk about this, and if you could correct me if I'm not doing this correctly, when I've had those conversations with residents who are wanting to understand, where their road is in the priorities, and if it didn't get done because of budget this year, there's not a guarantee it'll be next year because that PCI, and what does that stand for? The pavement conditions. Some roads are going to deteriorate more and some roads will hold up a little bit better. So that's kind of one of those mitigating factors of where something may be on the list is one of the ways I've explained. Am I on the right track when I do that?
Yeah, it's very nuanced, but yes, that is part of it. The other thing that we would recognize is that if it is on the list at that point, being, the next priority, it is not going to fall to the back of the list. It is going to stay. Exactly.
Thank you for your indulgence, Councillor Ferguson. You're next.
No problem. Thank you very much. Well, 28% of this list is in Pakenham. So what does that tell you? That the roads are bad in Pakenham? I would suggest. Is that what we're hearing or seeing, if 28% of them? And I guess to come back to Councillor Holmes's question and clarification through the mayor, if it's now, the bottom part of it is surplus funding. And that will move onto the list, but no guarantees that it's going to make the list for next year. Is that the priority list? Is that what we're saying? It will maintain it, but not necessarily be guaranteed that it will be done next year.
Correct.
Okay, I find that a little difficult.
Well, the purpose of that is so that it moves up beyond its normally scheduled time. Right? So this gives it basically an advantage to be done ahead of schedule rather than waiting.
Okay.
Yes, appreciate that, because I have had 5 calls. In fact, the latest one today is from the Macquarie Road, of which is all under surplus funding. And they travel it regularly, as do the skiers and the golfers, obviously. So yeah, it's interesting what their thoughts are. Thank you.
Councillor Suter, did I see your hand?
This is just a question. Several of these projects are listed as 2, 3, or 4 separate projects, but they're all connected and there are different lengths of road involved. For example, the 10th concession of Pakenham has one very large section and one little tiny one and another one. Why do you do that? Is that because there are convenient places to split a job if you had to because of money?
Pardon me, from an asset management perspective and from our GIS perspective, segments of road, particularly when you go, for example, block to block, get broken up as individual segments. We review each segment on its own for its pavement condition index and its prioritizations. They tend to blend together as roads were traditionally built all at once. So yes, the idea is it is a convenient spot for breaking them up and measuring them. Otherwise, we could have some segments that would be 3.9 kilometers long. And, we're not going to wait till the entire 3.9 kilometers is in very poor condition when we could have reasonable segments to look at and repair.
Is that clarified?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, not seeing anything. Jean, Madam Clerk, can you remind me, did I get a mover and seconder? I don't think I did, eh? Okay. Is there a mover and seconder then for the recommendation moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Lowe, that council approve the prioritization list for hard surface renewals for 2026 as presented? All in favor? There we go, and that's unanimous, and we will cross our fingers that we get good prices this year. I can do a good number beyond 38 this year. Thanks very much, Corey. All right, time sensitive item number 2. This is item B. This is the resolution that we had, I think on the communications last committee meeting. This is the resolution that the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus has passed. It's been adjusted slightly to put our own name in there. Therefore, be it resolved that, and then it's the municipality in there. It is our choice to support this resolution, support something different, or otherwise. The county has endorsed it as well on our last meeting, eh? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the counties.
Yeah, the county supported it at or 2 meetings ago, I can't remember.
Last
meeting, thank you. All right. Is there thoughts on this resolution? Is there a mover and seconder for this resolution? You'd like to move it? Okay, it's moved by the Deputy Mayor. Is there a seconder for this resolution? Councillor Holmes, thank you. Any discussion on this resolution from the Wardens Caucus? Deputy Mayor, and then I'll go to the Councillor Torrance.
Generally speaking, I'm in favor of high-speed rail. I know that there's going to be a lot of things that the municipalities and the cities and the towns aren't going to be happy with. Negotiation, if we negotiate with Alto, I think it's going to really help in the long run, because after the negotiation's over, that's it for them, and they'll be building the rail. But generally speaking, I'm in favor of a high-speed rail. So just so council knows, thank you.
Councillor Torrance.
I'm in favor of this resolution. And I would like to see your letter as a companion piece to this. And so, because I think that your letter actually better describes what we have seen as the stumbling points for the high-speed rail. So I was just curious how those are both going to move forward. Like, they have both different audiences, but at the same time, they're both arriving on the same desks. Is that correct?
They absolutely can. Maybe the clerk has a suggestion on how to, like, they're all sort of separate pieces on our agenda this evening, but how do we best communicate this to, I think, Alto as well as the public?
So I can include the resolution, the letter, and the commentary to Alto, and I can also draft a cover letter to the people named in the final and include all of those as well.
Well, I just think that, I mean, I think I don't disagree with anything that's in this, this motion. And that especially in its current form, part of the, and it's that we just haven't had like, there is no form to Alto yet. It really is about the consultation, because we don't know what the form is. So we're opposing Alto's proposal in its current form, but we don't know what the proposal is at this time. So I think that your letter actually describes our response in a more fulsome way than this motion. So I'd like to make sure it's going to be companion to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other comments?
Yeah, just a comment. I agree with what Councillor Torrance is saying. I think, and as I had pointed out to you, it's actually, if it goes, by Alma, they're going to destroy part of the Trans-Canada Trail, which was developed in 1967 to really promote unity. So, but I also had a call from someone who's involved with the winterized, Skidoo people.
Oh, yes.
And they're busy. They're wanting to know who they should write to letters to and stuff. So I didn't necessarily tell them who to, but I did suggest that if they are going to write letters, that they copy this municipality if they're from here. So we do know, what other people are thinking. So just a comment. Thank you.
No, it's a good comment. Any other comment on the B portion? We can dig into. Actually, is it all sort of the same? We could do this all sort of the same, right? Because it's the resolution with three things underneath it.
Yeah, we could pass the resolution. So I have a resolution number and I could put it on the nice, pretty resolution letterhead.
Okay.
And then you can just provide me staff direction to incorporate your
Okay.
letter and the comments from the staff report in one package that gets
Okay.
circulated.
Okay. Yeah, we did the staff report piece last time. So if we look at, what are we at here? J3, B, B and C. So B itself is just a repeat of the motion. But C is a draft version of some of the commentary from the Government Relations Working Group at the county. And there has been an updated list of that. I simply put that out for your awareness. If there's anything there you feel you want to include in our commentary, if you want to leave it with the county, that they are doing that, we don't need to duplicate the things they're talking about. There was some kind of interesting discussion, I would say, at the county in that, are we sending a double message if we're saying we don't support this in its current form, but here's the ways that we, would expect to work with you? Is there sort of two messages there? So we could feel that we are strong enough with the resolution and the letter that we'd like to leave it there and keep engagement happening, discussion happening. Or there could be some pieces you'd like to pull from that county list, or we might just leave it with the county to do that part. What are our thoughts? Go ahead, Councillor Suter.
Since the county has already passed its resolution and clearly indicated that this is going forward, why don't we just send ours as a companion package? I don't think we want to start piling or laddering information just in case we start contradicting each other.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a working doc. The County of Lanark has produced a cogent, logically developed piece of information. And I certainly don't think we should pick bits out of it.
Okay.
So I also would like to commend you for your very clear and very well-written letter of the previous week.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Holmes.
Yeah, just another thought. I was going to bring it up as part of the Mississippi Conservation Authority. But we, in our package yesterday, there was a very good report that the staff at the CA put together on the possible impacts of also on the different areas in Lanark County. And it's, so I'll pull that, and I think it's good for us to have, for the council members and for, our senior members of staff. So, and there may be something in that that's of good logic. Councillor Suter might have some thoughts on that too, because she got the same one. But I think it's really well written and very informative. Thank you.
So I think I'm hearing support the motion, include the letter, include the staff comments. I can't remember if we said to include the MM 2048 business. We had talked about that with the Alto people at one point. Is there anything there to include as well? Like the infringement on the settlement of Almont was one of the things we were thinking about, and impacts to Appleton Village. Just sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Sorry.
No, that's fine, Mayor. I'm happy to work with the clerk in terms of providing some more
So remember
planning
that was something
background.
we said we
Yep.
would make sure that they had.
Absolutely.
They seemed keen to understand the plans that we were already invested in, so. Okay, so have we landed at a comfortable spot for everyone? Okay, so is there, I'm not gonna read this whole big motion, but is there a mover and seconder for,
You already have a mover and second.
oh, do I?
Yeah, Deputy Mayor Manili and Councillor Holmes.
Oh, okay, great. All right. So we have that, and then the direction will just be direction? Okay, so it's been moved, it's been seconded. All in favor of this motion? Thank you. That is unanimous. And then we'll provide direction that the letter that I had written be included, the feedback from staff, the technical feedback from staff, including MM 2048 policy comment. Do you want that as a motion, or that's perfect? So have we crossed our Ts and dotted our Is at this point? Okay, excellent. Thank you, everyone. Moving to bylaws. So bylaw 26-022. This bylaw being a bylaw to set the location where Patterson Street ends and Old Almont Road starts, be read, passed, signed, and sealed in open council. Is there a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Torrance. Seconded by Councillor Suter. Seems appropriate. Thank you. Any discussion on the bylaw? Councillor Torrance.
I'm really happy to see this on the table. I actually was thinking we were gonna have to put a notice of motion to change that little piece of the road, the name of that little piece of the road, because it doesn't make any sense right now. But I am curious why Old Almont Road is called a highway in the bylaw.
Oh, that's a good question.
Through you, Mayor, it is, it's just the technical term for reference to the bylaws passing the municipal act in terms of highways. But yes, I hear your point. Yeah.
Nothing smaller than a highway, eh? Fair enough. Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. That carries. Are there any announcements or invitations this evening? Councillor Holmes.
I guess what I'd like to mention is on last week, I think it was Wednesday of last week, we did a farm tour of Lanark County.
Yeah.
Councillor Lowe came, and I think you missed most of it,
I squeaked in
unfortunately.
for
but-
lunch.
Yeah, well, that's the best part always. But it was really informative. We went to a chicken with 25,000 hens, if you can imagine. We're about to say grade their eggs and sell them. Not, they sell them to one of the big companies. We went to a nice new built dairy barn where they do the self-milking now. And then we went to a beef place where they talked about some of the new technology. So it was well worth the while, and it was a very comfortable bus. And so I think we'll probably do that tour again in the next couple of years, and I'll make sure it's on this end of the county. But you had to keep it in one area, so you didn't have a long place. I mean, then we went to the maple sugar bush too, and that's where we had our lunch. So it was a really nice, good, and it was nice just to talk to the other councillors and things. So it was time well spent. Thank you.
Well, and as a director, I'm sure you had your hand in planning the day. So thank you for any work you had to do with that, Councillor Holmes. Councillor Lowe.
Thank you. I was debating on whether to do this now or when the library comes up, but the library board is currently starting strategic planning, and they're looking for community input. So if you go to the library's website, they have a survey. It takes about 10 minutes. If all of you could consider filling that out and share it within your friend groups, that would be great. There isn't a deadline date on it, so I would just treat it as in the next couple of weeks. I think it'll stay open. That is it.
Great. Councillor Torrance.
I attended, as many of you did, the Mississippi Mills Community Luncheon and today, and just reminded of the strength of the community organizations in Mississippi Mills and the value of working cooperatively. And it was a real, I came away feeling quite buoyed by the hopefulness of the organizations that serve the people in Mississippi Mills. And it was a wonderful event. So I just wanted to give kudos to Tiffany and her staff for putting it on, and thinking if we're going to be talking with them about the Mississippi Mills Community Master Plan later, and if a good idea came out of that to have these luncheons, I think that it was well spent. You know, like it was a great thing. And just to let everybody know that I'm going to Ireland tomorrow. And so I won't be around for a few weeks. So if you are wondering where I am, I'm in Scotland, partly vacation and partly spreading cremated remains. So a little bit of both. Anyway.
Yeah, the event today was great. It was great. And I really mean it every time I say it. I need to maybe say it less often because it'll seem like I'm saying it by rote, but there's just such great energy with the organizations and the willingness to try to work together. And yeah, it was great energy in that room today. Yeah. Did you want to jump back in? No.
Yeah, thank you. It just reminded me that, you know, we started thinking about this, Jane, and I remember the session we were at working with organizations, and from there all the way to today where I sat at a table and saw two different couples of people get together and share information and want to work together going forward. So it's having an enormous impact, and that was just one table.
Yeah. Councillor Suter.
Yes. What I recognized, what I heard, were a large number of people who said they had made at least 2 or 3 really valuable connections with other groups who could either provide contacts or ideas. And I think this was the most successful one we've had so far. But I would also like, I guess, to announce and to remind the public, particularly, that our community volunteer awards are coming up towards the end of May. The nomination period will be opening very soon.
Open now.
It'll open now, and we've got, roughly another 2 weeks. It is an excellent program to recognize the effort and the intelligence and the commitment of people in this town. And I really hope that people, if they hear this, please think about a peer, think about a friend who gives of their time, and take a look at that website, because they're really an excellent program. Thank you.
Great segue. It's a great segue from the event today. Anything further? Well, I got 2. One is the Volunteer Appreciation Night on the 21st. Get the date right on that. So like we've done other years, we put on the Volunteer Appreciation Evening alongside the Civitan, the Hub, and CareBridge. So tell everyone you know who volunteers. There's still lots of volunteers in Mississippi Mills who think they can't go because they don't volunteer with Mississippi Mills or the Hub, or, you know, so-and-so. So please spread the word if you can. And it's a lovely evening, a really lovely evening. And I'm surprised, Councillor Ferguson, you didn't beat me to it. The big open house that's happening this Thursday. The county is moving into the second phase of the Five Arches Bridge rehabilitation, and there's really just an information session, 5 to 7. So I'm sure you'll be there 4 to 8, but it's at the Pakenham Library this Thursday. I think that'll be a good opportunity for folks in Pakenham to know what's going on. And do you want to add anything?
Yeah, and it's well advertised.
Yes.
And it's obviously going to be an inconvenience for a significant period of
Yes.
time. But it certainly is in bad shape. The
Yes.
top of it, you can see through it virtually. And yeah, so it's a project that has to be done. And it's going to be inconvenient for the farmers coming across there, that's for sure. But it is well advertised and I'm sure there will be a good crowd.
Yeah. And all of council, obviously, you're welcome to attend if you're able. Anything further? All right, seeing not, there's no closed session, so no rise and report. So we'll move right to the confirmatory bylaw. The motion is that bylaw 26-023, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council of the corporation of the municipality of Mississippi Mills at its regular meeting held on the 14th day of April 2026, be read, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 14th day of April 2026. Mover and seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Lowe, seconded by Councillor Ferguson. All in favor? Thank you. And we are adjourned at 6:57. Thank you very much, everyone.
Back at 5 after?